when we look at these words to Joshua, there's not only the words of God having him and helping him face the problem, but there is the power that is within the promise. Every place the sole of your foot will tread, I have given you. Be strong and of good courage, for you shall divide the inheritance which I swore to give them. The Lord your God is giving you rest and is giving you this land. Listen to this terminology, will you? It's a profound comparison of tenses. He says, I promised it to those people long ago. You were among those people, he said to Joshua. Long ago he promised. He said, I promised it. But he said, I have given it. I promised it, I have given it. And then he says, I am giving. When did this take place anyway? And with that, we step into the realm of the whole issue of the eternal nature of our God, to whom all things are an immediate now. What he has spoken, he sees is already completed. What he has already completed, he invites us to be progressively reaching out to lay hold of. The theologies of human analysis come into conflict at this point so frequently. There are those who see what God has sovereignly declared as being so absolute. They say, the power is all of God's, and of course it is. The promise is all his, the power is all his. But then because he said, I have done it, they say, what you do is basically sit back and wait for it to appear. But the Lord didn't say that to Joshua. He said, the land I am giving you, everywhere the sole of your foot shall tread. In other words, get up and move, and it'll begin to unfold. So there is the flip side of the theological debate that says, well, the key to it is us getting up and getting going. God helps those who help themselves. I heard someone quote that as though it were scripture, and of course it's nowhere in the Bible. But the Lord does call us to our responsibility. The challenge of balancing human responsibility with divine sovereignty is something that theologians have undertaken for centuries, and the perfect blend of those two great concepts will never be made to anyone's satisfaction, or the book would have been written, issued, and widely released, and no one would take exception to the opposite view. Oftentimes we who emphasize the pathway of faith are accused and sometimes even ridiculed by those who say, look, what are you talking about possessing things by faith? If God doesn't have it for you, then it's arrogance, it's pretension for you to as though you could press and twist God's arm. And on the other hand, there are those of us that need to hear the word of the Lord, that we recognize that everything that we reach out to receive because he has promised in his word, that we with patience pursue, that we with wisdom embrace what his promise says, and we with, above all else, humility say, Lord, the power is yours entirely, and I come to acknowledge that anything that I'm reaching forward to possess of anticipation, expectation, that's something that is your promise, and it is therefore your power that will bring it into being.